But that was a fine fight! I'm gonna die alone!
Hey, man, I didn't realize you had a degree in medicine.
I am an FBI agent!
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
I would know. I'm the executive sales manager.
But I will not hesitate. Not for a second.
I'm a guy. I'm not the guy. I don't think.
And welcome to the Film Debris Podcast. This is Film Debris' episode number 8 of our audio Blogcast podcast, cast. My name is Robert Temple. I am Master Side at Twitter. And over here to my right is Deanthony Graves.
What's up, what's up?
You find him on Twitter at
Your boy Concepts.
Today's subject is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2014 reboot.
Yes.
I think his name is pronounced Liebsman, the director?
Liebsman?
Is that what it looked like to you?
Yeah, we're gonna go with Liebsman.
I've never heard anyone say it. So Liebsman. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was a fan of the Ninja Turtles when I was younger. I never read the comic books, but I was a big fan of the cartoons.
Yeah.
Did you watch the cartoons back in the 80s and
back
stuff?
when they were all round-faced and cheesy looking? And I've even, the new version of them on Nickelodeon, my son is addicted to that, so naturally I watch it with him, and that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I like.
I was a big fan of the cartoon and the video games way back in the day. I know there's been a lot of like reiterations of the cartoons and stuff, and none of them really grabbed me. But the one on Nickelodeon that they have right now, I don't have Nickelodeon, so I can only see it on Hulu Plus.
That's where you watch it.
$7.99 a month, Hulu Plus. And what I've seen on there, it makes me a kid again inside.
Yeah, it takes you back to the golden years.
Yeah, they're really fun, and I wish I could watch it more and whatever, but you know, times, you know how they are. But I used to have the action figures, and I had so many of the action figures. You know, it was like one of those things where, you know, okay, we're gonna go out to a pizza tonight. Okay, how many can I take with me?
Yeah, and then you gotta decide which one is the best for you, and it takes 20 minutes to do that.
And you're like, okay, sorry Donatello, maybe next time. I'm already taking Half Court and Sandstorm. There's some deep cuts on the action figures right there. Yeah, but I used to be a big fan of those, and you know, it's kind of like with Transformers in the same kind of breadth of conversation, because Transformers is big now, and I used to be a big Transformers before Ninja Turtles. I used to be a big Transformers fan with the cartoons. I used to have some of the
action figures.
Yeah, the action figures. And through the movies, I've actually kind of become anti-fan, because now they've
thrown them away.
Well, it's like they've managed to take away any fandom I had of like that. Just the other day.
But you've only seen the one, right?
No, I've seen 2 now.
The last 2?
No, I saw the first one.
Oh, you went back and watched the first?
That's the one I saw.
The first one is the one, okay.
The first one and the 4th one. I feel like I'm not missing much in between.
No, but at least you get a contrast from where they started to where they ended.
Well, I don't know. It feels about the same. First, I want to talk about some things we've seen, other things besides the Ninja Turtles that we've seen this past week. Have you seen anything?
Yesterday, I rewatched actually, Gangs of New York.
Oh,
I watched
some would say a classic.
Yeah, I'm still feeling impressed by how well the movie was done. It was my wife's first time seeing it, so it was nice seeing the expression on her face, you know, for the opening battle sequence.
Yeah.
I remember how well that was shot. You know, that first tight end shot where, you know, he kicks the door open and then the camera kind of zooms out of it into the open, empty courtyard for the Battle of the Five.
Yeah. Doesn't it like follow him down the hallway or something?
Yeah, it's like a continuous shot with following Liam Neeson as he's walking with the young. Well, it wasn't Leo DiCaprio, but the younger version of that character, you know, and they were walking down to the battle, what turned out to be his final battle, and that whole shot was just beautifully done. It was a classic movie, and good old Cameron Diaz still looking the same.
Now, if I remember last time I saw it, for me, she never felt like she fit in that world.
No, I can't say she fit in the world, but her presence was known. I felt her. Mm-hmm. I did feel her presence. I think maybe that might not have been the movie for her, but hey, she stood out, and so she still got paid. So.
I mean, she must have passed the casting.
She must have, or they just knew she would someday make a sex tape. Thank you.
Back to Liam Neeson. If I were going to pick someone to train me, I mean, Liam Neeson has trained Batman. He's trained Anakin Skywalker. Mm-hmm. He's trained Leonardo DiCaprio in The Gangs of New York. Mm-hmm. And he's beat up wolves. And
he looks the same, too. You talk about an ageless actor. There's three, in my eyes, that I just feel like don't age. Liam Neeson, he looks the same, no matter what. In all of his actions, he looks the same. Cameron Diaz looks the same to me. Of course, she's more mature as a woman now. She's not all young faced like she was in The Mask, but she still looks the same. And Samuel L. Jackson, this guy, for some reason, he just looks the same.
There's some guys like Sean Connery, Steve Martin, Liam Neeson, where like they always look the same, but it kind of helps when you always looked old. Yeah,
you're always playing that older character.
Like Steve Martin's had gray hair since he was
12.
12. Yeah, Gangs of New York. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis. It's probably when the first role he was kind of, I don't know, as he got really popular around, because he did some acting in the Last of the Mohicans and My Left Foot, and then he was gone for a while, and then you see him again in Gangs of New York, and that character is almost like a slight offshoot of Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood. He kind of has a little bit of the same voice.
Almost, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, great performances, and Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win Best Actor for that
either.
I don't even know if he was nominated. I don't know. But Martin Scorsese, let's say in Martin Scorsese's oeuvre, in his movie catalog, Gangs of New York, you put it in the top 10, 15, 20?
Well, I can't say how many of Scorsese's movies I've really seen. I know I've seen a handful of them, and all of them were really good. Gangs of New York, in the list that I have, no matter where it fell, it would still be a great movie. I haven't seen all, or 20 or whatever. I've seen maybe 6 or 7, but all of those were really good. So even if it takes the last place compared to the other 5, that's still good. It's like, wow, how do you choose out of 6 really good movies?
Yeah, it's like one of those, even if... And Gangs of New York probably isn't one of my favorite of his movies, but I do like the movie.
Yeah.
But even if you took away his top 10 movies, and some no-name director had done Gangs of New York, that would be his best movie or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that exactly made sense, but
I'm with you.
You give that to almost any other director, if you put
that would be their best movie. Yeah.
So that kind of says something about
Scorsese.
Yeah.
Or that we're so heavy on his nuts.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
The cojones. I do know when I was watching with that, all of the ooh, ouches, and the oh my goodness
sound effect.
That my wife was making because I don't think she was prepared for that type of dialogue. I don't think she was prepared for how black or all the Irish and all the different races that he was, and how negatively he felt on them. and he was very vocal about his feelings. I don't think she was ready for that. I don't think she expected it to be so hardcore.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there with a smile on my face like, you young child.
Well, you know, there's a lot of, that's how it was, you know, if whoever landed here first, this is mine, and anyone else who came here after me is less than.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's still kind of that way today.
For real, though. It's like 100.
And, you know, there's a lot of people who want the country to be traditional and the way it was. It kind of is still. And that's the part they don't want to lose, I guess.
That's what they're holding on to. But definitely an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Something. It was a highlight of a movie that I've seen this week.
Yeah. Definitely a good movie. Speaking of, for me, and I forgot to talk about it last week, is Boyhood, directed by Richard Linklater. He did, like, his first film was Slacker '91. He's most famous for Dazed and Confused. He did all the Before Midnight, Before Sunset, Before Twilight. I'm just saying all those movies came before Twilight. And he did a third one where they filmed Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy every 9 years. They filmed them in
like and like the One Night in Paris, or not One Night. Oh my God, that's the wrong movie. Blooper. Let's start over. They had a movie with that. It was something in Paris, right? A Love in Paris, or
with those two actors?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke.
Well, I mean, well, Midnight in Paris is a Woody Allen movie. I don't know. That's what you're talking about.
So One Night in Paris. It's a damn Paris Hilton movie.
Oh, okay. Yes, Ethan Hawke was not in that.
He could have been. He could have been.
He could have been. No, but he directed those three movies: Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight. These three movies that are a trilogy of these two people's relationships, and they filmed them every 9 years. And it kind of shows how they change, how the people change, quite literally, in those relationships. Something that he was working on during those movies is the movie Boyhood, which he's been filming for 12 years. He had this kid. His name is Eller Coltrane, who was 6 years old when they started filming, and his daughter Lorelei Linklater. And they played brother and sister in Boyhood. And so every year they film more scenes for the movie. And so, have you heard about this Boyhood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So every year they film a little bit of it, and it shows, like, literally
the progression
of
life,
those kids, the actors and actresses, and the world. And so you can see how pop culture, they're playing Wii in one of the scenes, and they're listening to Lady Gaga, and they're singing Britney Spears songs. And it's all being shot in present time, and as opposed to shooting it today, looking at the past.
Mm-hmm.
So every scene I had to keep reminding myself that this isn't makeup that's making Patricia Arquette look old or younger. So it has Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette. They play the mother and father, who have separated, and, like, Ethan Hawke was never really prepared to be a father, but, you know, he loves the kids, but he's just not ready to settle down. So he comes and sees them every weekend and every summer vacation. And it's a really simple story. I mean, it's Boyhood. It's just about him growing up and going to school, changing schools, having to deal with his parents' relationships, and his mother trying to have a steady relationship with a man in her life. And she kind of has the circular mistakes of getting with men who are either drunk or just generally not good for her or whatever. And you know, she decides to go back to school, get a degree, become a teacher, and all this happens within this 12-year period. And so you can see their lives change, and you see the people change. And yeah, Patricia Arquette is very good in it as the mother.
Yeah.
I could see a nomination for actress for her. I could see Richard Linklater getting a nomination for director. And as far as right now, from the reviews I've written and the reviews I have on SiteHeist.com, Boyhood is now the #1 movie on the website.
Nice.
Lego Movie slides down to #2. But I still like Lego Movie. I like how different, those two movies are completely different. But Boyhood, it feels, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. But every scene has a direct kind of impact on what's next, because just like life, everything that happens to them in their lives actually forms who they are in the next scenes and the next years, and it becomes part of their characters, and it really just everything evolves through it. It's anyone who's like a film fan or like a fan of directing, or you want to get into that kind of thing, I don't think there's been any movie that's ever been on this scale that's not by a college director or someone like that, or someone who has this much skill, who's done something on that large of a scale. And it's quite a big project. So I recommend everyone watch Boyhood. It's very good. You're going to be hearing about it at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Definitely recommend Boyhood.
Nice.
We're going to take a break. I think that's everything I had to say about that. Going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some old school Ninja Turtle movies and the new school Ninja Turtle movies. Not movie. Oh, there's going to be movies.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back on the Film Debris Podcast.
This is our city. That's what I'm talking about. Like shadows in the night, completely unseen.
Who's that?
It's a camera flash. Give me the camera.
Oh, look, he's doing his Batman voice.
Back off, Rat!
Do not say a word about this to anyone. If you do, we will find you.
Yeah, we'll find you. I'm sorry, that came across super creepy, okay? We will find you, though.
And we're back. Oh, okay, well, we took a little break there. Got some things sorted out. Talked about how deeply intimate and passionate we are about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, directed by John Liebsman?
Liebsman?
Will Arnett, Megan Fox, William Fichtner.
Something like that.
But first, we're going to talk about some of the old live-action Ninja Turtles movies. I saw the first Ninja Turtles movie. I think I might have seen it in the theater. I think my dad brought me a long time ago. And, it's nothing like the cartoon.
No.
It's very, very cartoony.
Yeah.
And the first Ninja Turtles movie was very dark. And I remember vividly Raphael yelling, "Damn." I would say that it's not a good movie. Maybe not a great movie.
Not in today's standards, obviously, but not even like in the past few years standards. But when I first saw it, I was that was awesome. I think I rented it a few times, and it used to be my most favorite movie. I just thought the graphics were out of the world. It was ahead of its time, much like James Brown. So
yeah, it was that first one. I kind of compare it, for some reason in my mind, I just compare it to X-Men 1, Ninja Turtles 1, X-Men 1. So the first time you ever see them like live and moving,
Yeah.
And it was really dark, a little slow. I would say it was slow. I remember there's a part where, like, when Raphael gets beat up, they all go to the countryside, and then the movie just sits there for a while. I remember feeling it was kind of slow, but I think it actually builds back up. This is all from memory. I haven't seen the first one in a while.
In a long time.
Yeah.
I remember me and my wife, we were trying to watch it, and we accidentally got the third one, and that, of all three movies, was the...
We'll get there. But the first one, I would say, it's all right. Not great. That's what I would think. from memory. The Ninja Turtles are cool. Raphael was cool. I think whenever I think of my favorite one, I always think of Michelangelo. When it comes down to it, I think it's usually Raphael.
Right, because he's the brute of the group. He's always the one ready to.
He's cool but rude.
Business. Yeah.
And Michelangelo,
he's just cool.
He's a party dude. But unfortunately, I got the Donatello mask tonight, so that's okay.
Not me. I got the Raphael.
So I'd say the first one, if I remember, kind of dark, kind of slow, and very adult Ninja Turtles. The second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze. I think that might have been the most popular one, right? Of the three.
Yeah. Again, I would say compared to X-Men, the second X-Men opened up more action. Had Ernie Reyes Jr. Little karate dude.
Yeah.
I didn't notice until someone brought it up, but the second Ninja Turtles movie, I guess there's complaints about the Ninja Turtles using their weapons from parents. And so the second Ninja Turtles movie, you barely see them ever use their weapons.
Oh, I never noticed that. I never noticed that.
It might ruin it for me next time, but I see it. But I say I have better memories of this one because I think I saw it more, and it's just funner, more like the cartoon maybe.
Yeah, it was definitely more of an upbeat movie, especially with Vanilla Ice's cameo.
Oh, I thought we were gonna forget about that.
No, we will never forget about that. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! That was. I loved it. I thought it picked up. Other than the fact, what you mentioned, that they never used their weapon. I didn't really notice that. They were just fighting a lot. It had a lot more action.
Yeah. For Vanilla Ice, it's so weird how so in the moment it is.
Yes.
Vanilla Ice's reign is very, very small.
Very small. So for him to be featured and at the height of his career, it was only until the movie came out on VHS that he was no longer.
3 months later, it was done.
It took a little longer back then, but in today's standards, it was about 3 months span. Sad.
Yeah, it's really weird because I couldn't imagine. I guess if you're a kid today, maybe the age we were when Ninja Turtles 2 came out, whoever the big artist is, who would be the big for a teenage boy? Who would be that he would maybe like? Because I think we liked Vanilla Ice for those
at that moment,
15-minute.
He was doing his thing.
I don't know who would be comparable.
Kendrick Lamar. You get a Kendrick Lamar type. No, he's probably too popular. Vanilla Ice, even though we liked him, he wasn't too popular.
Yeah, he was only popular to the people who didn't know anything about music.
Yeah, we accepted him, but he wasn't he wasn't doing Kendrick Lamar numbers, Soulja Boy. For a teenage boy to like Soulja Boy, or
I might be
Macklemore.
yeah, actually that's a good comparison.
Macklemore, there we go.
But I think he's more talented than Vanilla Ice. I might be exposing myself right now, but I don't even know who Kendrick Lamar is. So Ninja Turtles 3, they go to Japan, and now they're wearing shiny rubber suits.
And they look fake.
And they look fake, and they look dumb, and they look...
big-headed.
Oh, sorry. I was supposed to say
Gumbies.
Gumby, yeah. They look like Gumby with different color masks.
Yeah.
Could have had 4 Gumbies up there.
Why'd they go to Japan? Weren't they back in time, too?
Yeah. Okay. Just not that long ago, we happened to see that movie because my wife had never seen Ninja Turtles 3.
Ugh.
So I had to punish her by watching Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there's 4 turtles. April buys this lantern or something that has some magical powers. The 4 Ninja Turtles touch it at the same time, back in time, when 4 Japanese dudes the same relative size are holding it. Now this makes no sense because time... How can they be holding it at the same time? Did 4 people never ever touch it besides that one time?
Yeah. at the same time,
that's not the reason the movie is stupid. There's many reasons why the movie was dumb. So maybe that's why they've been gone for, what, 15, 12 years?
Oh my goodness.
I will say, I as far as I remember, the TMNT animated movie, I think was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that. That came out, what was that, in like 2000, like...
6, maybe?
Yeah, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
I remember around that time.
I don't remember it that much, but I remember thinking it was better than the last Ninja Turtle movie that was out.
I remember thinking, like, okay, they're going to make a comeback. Because I think around that time, they were probably getting us ready for the new, like, the updated version of the Ninja Turtles. Or, like, the second gen.
Yeah, and there's been many gens, and I've not seen... I haven't been paying attention. I know there was like a version where they had no pupils. I don't know if that was just a video game or if there was an actual show. Well, like I said, I haven't been paying attention. But... and then the Nickelodeon one that's on now, which looks pretty good to me, but I haven't been able to watch it.
Best. I think that's probably the best version of the Ninja Turtles I've seen. You know, it's more like digital, though. You know,
yeah,
it's
3D
not just cartoons anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen, like the voices seem pretty good and the writing seems pretty good. You know, it gets kind of the essence of the silly turtles as opposed to like, you know, the comic darker versions.
Always gotta fight and beat up something. Very much like how I felt in this movie, the 2014.
Well, now you say the Nickelodeon cartoon might be the best version, but what about this 2014?
For it to be a live action movie, this obviously takes the cake, you know, because it looks beautiful. The turtles, I thought I was gonna have an issue with their mouth, but with how fast the camera movement was, it didn't stand out as an issue.
Yeah, yeah. When you see, you know, the trailers or whatever, I can remember you saying, like, why do they have lips, I think.
Yeah.
And when I first saw them in the movie, I was like, oh, they have teeth. And then I was thinking, I guess they've always had teeth.
I guess.
But it ended up not being as much of a big deal. A
distraction.
Yeah, as you might think it would have been.
See, what our problem is we're comparing them to real turtles. We're forgetting the fact that they're mutated.
Yeah, and that's something this movie actually does touch on, how kind of silly the whole concept is. No pun intended. How silly the whole thing is of mutant turtles, and they kind of show how they are in this kind of hyper real world.
Yeah.
And they don't push it too far, but you know, I mean, there's that line about, are they aliens or no?
No, that's stupid. Why would they be aliens?
Now, yeah, obviously that's the callback to, I don't know if it was just the rumor or if they're actually going to be teenage alien Ninja Turtles, you know, like last year when we were talking about the new Ninja Turtles movie that was coming out.
Oh jeez.
But it actually, I haven't looked at any of the like scores for any of the websites for this movie, but I was hearing some rumblings about some things about it and that it was horrible. And maybe it's because I was hearing those bad things that when I was sitting through the movie, I was kind of waiting for, okay, where's the
something bad?
Yeah.
Like where are they getting this from? I felt like that too, because it was just yesterday I was talking to someone saying that I was going to see the release of this movie, and they said, oh, I heard it was bad, like only getting a 2 rating, and that, I mean, yeah, it sounded weird to me. I was like, but dang, that would suck, because I've been surprised, you know. We've been surprised this year at the movies we were excited about and turned out being really bad. But when I was watching this movie, I was kind of waiting for it. Like,
yeah, I kept saying, so far so good.
Yeah, like, okay, so there has to be a moment where they, like, this would have been bad, like, where it just sold everything.
Where the beep hits the fan.
Yeah. time for spoilers.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna go into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the movie, or if you haven't seen the movie, or you just don't want to be spoiled, or whatever it is, we're gonna let you know right now. Maybe I'll put something in the video or some kind of thing where if
A
you're looking at that,
transition, a warning sign.
yeah. I was thinking of making a spoilers graphic.
Yeah.
Like from this point on, leave it on the screen. So we're gonna go into spoilers. We're gonna talk about specific moments in the movie, things that happen, probably the ending and stuff like that. So if you don't want to hear it, tune out now, pause, come back. We'll be right here. Don't worry, it's the internet. It's never going away. So, what were we gonna? So,
I was thinking maybe I think there was only one part where I got irritated or kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe this is where they got the bad review from, is when it was like the Foot Clan, when April or Megan Fox was trying to, it's Megan Fox. Yeah. When she was trying to prove that the Foot Clan existed, and everyone was like, oh no, it's a big myth and so on and whatnot, but we kept seeing them throughout the whole movie. Like, they were not trying to hide. It's not like they were even like ninja-like.
Yeah, they were not ninja at all.
Using assault rifle machine guns, and there was nothing secretive about it at all. So it's like, well, how could they not have been discovered? And even on the news, it was like, oh, and the Foot Clan strikes again. It's like, okay, well, everyone knows about the Foot Clan. Why is it so hard for you to believe in a vigilante against the Foot Clan?
Yeah. Well, there was a part where Shredder says something like people don't believe in or believe that Foot Clan is a myth or something.
Yeah, he said they've become a myth, but they seem open as ever.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, that was the point where it's like, okay, let's put all of our plans into motion and have all of our
get out there.
Crappy ninjas run out there.
But that was before they even realized that the turtles existed. Like, Shredder had no idea that the turtles were alive at that point.
Yeah.
He was just talking to one of his minions about how bad they were doing. So I don't even think at that point he knew that the vigilante against the Foot Clan were the turtles. Because from what I remember,
Shredder, I mean, what's the difference to Shredder? I mean,
right?
As far at that point, they're just trying to
do something,
spread their word or spread their trying to. I mean, well, I don't think they're gonna poison the city.
No, but I don't know. That's where I was a little confused as far as the story went, because when who was it? Not Stark, but what was the guy's name?
The which one? Scientist guy?
Yeah.
The William Fichtner's character? I don't remember his name.
The guy who gave April work with her dad. Anyway, that guy, he said that they had put their plans on hold because they didn't have the antidote for the poison gas that they were going to use. So the whole point of the plan was to poison the neighborhood or the city and then have the antidote, which was going to make him like super money and kind of control everything, you know? But until April told him that she saw the turtles, he thought they were gone.
Yeah.
So Shredder's plan must have been completely different from what he had planned.
Yeah, I didn't feel like very clear on that. Maybe this is where the reviews are coming from. That their plan isn't succinct.
Yeah.
They're on the same page.
I remember at one point I did things like, wow, their plan kind of feels like Lizardman's plan.
And Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like, so you gotta make everybody sick just to heal them, and then what?
Yeah. That's what I kept thinking is like, well, here's Mr. Evil Guy, I'm gonna control the city. Yeah. You're gonna control the city?
They could have just did that with Shredder. Just with Shredder in his mighty suit just going out beating up people. Like, why was killing off people and then curing people, why would that be any different? Why didn't you just go out and terrorize people in your super suit?
Well, I feel like, I guess in a movie like this, I just let those things go, because the villains are, I guess their motives are weak.
Yeah.
I don't know if the villain, like
they're typical
Shredder
villains
himself, he was kind of cool, but you know, you don't expect him to be. I don't know what exactly he wants to do with his life.
I don't know.
But I feel like in this kind of movie, you know, it's more about the fun of the turtles.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I let go a little bit of how much sense the bad guy's plan made, because I wanted to see what the Ninja Turtles were doing.
Yeah. Okay, I give you that. And what I do like about the Ninja Turtles is it wasn't as long for the big reveal like it was for Godzilla. It took us far too long to see Godzilla, but there was some anticipation with the Turtles. You would see them in shadow, but you never really saw them, and some things were going on, but the camera movements were too fast for you to really see it.
Yeah.
So, okay, the suspense is there, and then boom, the big reveal. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It was the perfect amount of time.
Do you think it's unfortunate that the reveal of the Turtles in the movie is the same reveal we've been seeing in the trailers?
Yeah.
So it's not like it
was
the big
the
reveal where you're supposed to see
it
them.
wasn't different. Yeah.
So we've seen that reveal many times already.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we kind of lose a little bit not getting our own reveal.
Yeah.
What you said about the camera moving, I would say that's one of the problems I really did have. And I know Michael Bay is the producer of the movie, but one of the things I didn't like is sometimes how close the camera was to the digital turtles, and then how fast the camera was moving, because I feel like we're watching an action movie. I'd like to see the action. Just pull the camera back and let me see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, don't try to put me in it. Just let me see it.
A big mystery, kind of.
Because there's the parts where they are, like, going down the hill in the snow.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of, in my mind, I was sitting there and thinking, I wonder how long has the sequence been? They've been going down this mountain for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
activity.
Well, there's a lot of very improbable things going on in the whole movie, and that's one of the things I was saying, I think, where they embrace the absurdity of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that they did it on purpose and not just that it was careless. Like the semi truck going down sideways and spinning around down a snowy mountain, and uncontrollably, and then a bad guy Jeep comes down, drives right beside them, and this guy has perfect aim to shoot the arrow through the window of the truck while they're going downhill uncontrollably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's really a lot of crazy stuff going on, and
they did embrace that. They did embrace. I do remember at one point you mentioned during the movie about another close up of Megan Fox's face. Like, you know, they kept tight on her. Kind of like I don't know, maybe just a reminder, like, hey, here's why you're watching the movie. Okay, now back to the action. Back to your previously scheduled broadcast.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, like, the action, one of the things I kind of wanted more of was, like, the Ninja Turtles kind of talking to each other. Because you get to see all their personalities, but I feel like it's very little of it is with each other. Like, there's a few things Leonardo and Raphael say to each other, and Michelangelo gets to make all of the non sequitur jokes. But I would have liked some kind of conversation where they talk to each other and have a conversation where you learn about them from themselves through each other. I don't know, I just felt like I would have liked to know the characters more. I mean, they've been around a long time, of course, and we already know about them. And that's another thing I feel like, not only do they embrace the absurdity, I feel like this movie is made, it's a reboot, but it's also taking into account the whole history.
Yeah.
Because there's a moment at the end where Raphael is apologizing for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But I felt like a lot of that stuff doesn't apply to what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like he was apologizing for everything that he's done in the history of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. That's what you would think. Because, doesn't he leave in one movie? Or was it with the cartoon? Or no, that was Leo that left in the TMNT movie. Like, he went out on his own.
Well, Raphael puts on a suit or something and becomes a vigilante himself.
Mm-hmm.
in the TMNT one. In the first movie, Raphael goes off by himself, I think, and fights the Foot Clan by himself or something.
Yeah.
And that's how he gets ganged up on. And then the second one, Raphael gets caught because I remember the other three have to go get Raphael. And he says, "There's Raph, a little too Raph."
Yeah, it was Raphael, not Leo. It was Raphael who was doing the vigilante. But
so I feel like if you know all of the movies and everything, I feel like, because like I said, I feel like you didn't get a lot of
that from
character.
One movie. Yeah.
You didn't get a lot of character build from each individual turtle, besides them like talking with each other and joking with each other. And Raphael is apologizing a lot, and I feel like the movie is expecting you to already have seen all these other things.
Yeah.
Because you already know their personalities. Now this is just a continuation of their legend.
Yeah. But they changed a lot of the history as far as how with the rat Splinter. With Splinter, because wasn't it in the first or the second movie where his owner was a master kung fu artist?
Yeah.
And he just learned from him.
Yeah, one of the worst scenes I think in movie history is
with the fucking rat.
The rat inside the cage, doing kung fu,
like duplicating whatever his master's doing, and then like the rat scratches Shredder's face and gives him a noticeable mark, or and then what was I think in the cartoon, Splinter actually was a human. And
yeah, he was a human. He was around rats.
Yeah, and he got transformed into a rat, but was still a master martial artist.
See, I feel like that. I prefer that because at least a human can do martial arts.
Yeah.
But I guess if you want to stay realistic and have a rat become a mutant instead of a human was around rats, so that's why he became half rat. I feel like if you're already going to deal with the mutagen thing, just go with the one that makes more sense, a human doing karate.
No, man, I'd rather...
You like the rat?
No, well, in the way they did it in this movie, like, he was mutated, and it accelerated their learning and all of that, just like in, what's another movie that does that kind of shit? Lucy. But anyway, he was a normal rat, or like Dawn of the Apes. Mm-hmm. They were normal monkeys, and they were experimented on. Normal
Dawn of the
apes,
Planet of the Apes.
Normal apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
they were normal apes that were experimented on, which heightened their learning, which is why they could do these things. I believe I like that one instead of a human who was around rats got turned into a rat.
But a rat doing karate, I feel like is so like. I mean, if we're already in this world, I guess you can do whatever you want because it doesn't. None of it makes sense.
None of it's gonna make sense. but it's more believable to me that a rat would get mutated and altered through experimentation, or his brain, now he can read and he taught himself kung fu. I would rather believe that.
I feel like most people who are into ninjutsu or anything like that, a discipline where it's very important to their life, they've been doing it since they were probably very, very young, not in the middle of their life. They learned it and then they from a book and then taught it to other people.
But first of all, in this movie we watched the rat grow. It was at the beginning of his life, if you think about it.
Then why is he an old man rat now?
Because he's been doing it a long time. And rats age quicker than turtles.
So at what point did he become half catfish in this movie?
And why was his mustache like snot looking? Like his nose was always
He's a rat in the sewer. How much can you expect from his cleanliness?
Hey, did you catch how he caught his mustache and flicked it?
I actually
that reminded me of Kill Bill.
Oh yeah.
Of the sensei. Mm-hmm. He always flick his beard.
Senpai, I don't know. I actually liked, so the Splinter design I kind of half like and half hate. I like that they gave him kind of the old Japanese master look with the long mustache and beard.
Mhm.
But then why is he? I guess because he must have read in his ninja handbook how ninjas use their tails, you know. I guess I liked some of how he looked, but then he probably looked the worst of
He looked the worst out of all.
Yeah.
The turtles looked they put more time into the turtles because that's what we were really there to see.
Yeah.
And they still looked better than the Transformers.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go on record and say that. So
what did you think about Shredder? The way they depicted Shredder. When I remember hearing, I thought William Fichtner was going to play Shredder.
yeah.
But it is a Japanese. I don't know if they ever say his real name. I don't think it must be Orokosaki.
The way I think they did maybe just a little too futuristic on him. Honestly, he looked like a Decepticon that knew kung fu. You know what I'm saying? He looked like Voltron, not Voltron. Why can't I ever remember names when we do our podcast?
You look like one of them Gundams.
Who is Optimus Prime always against?
Megatron?
Megatron. He looked like Megatron as a kung fu master.
Maybe they didn't have room for him in the Transformers movie, so they just copy and paste him into Ninja Turtles.
But he looked better than the Transformers did.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked him better in the movie than I thought I would if you just see him.
Yeah.
But still, there comes a point where if you're a fighter, there's a reason why the guys in the UFC have shorts and bare feet.
Yeah.
It's for maneuverability and mobility or whatever. They don't have 2 tons of steel on them.
But Batman did. Batman does.
Don't start with Batman.
Batman can move as freely as Shredder did, and they're wearing about the same amount of armor.
Batman can move as freely, but his shoulders are connected to his neck with a rubber helmet, and and when he wants to look up, he has to move his whole back. but the suit was a little too futuristic. I wish they would have pulled back just a little bit, but the new applications to it, like how he was shooting off the knives and they were magnetically come back, like he would pull them back into the suit. I thought that was cool. It was a little too much, but the way they did it, it was cool. It's like, oh shit, okay. Well, like I said, a little too much. I feel like that was part of the movie. I think I would give it a higher score if I say I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it from everything's over the top and it's just completely dumb and stupid, then it's just over the top and completely dumb and stupid. But I feel like the Ninja Turtle world is a silly world. And whenever Megan Fox, April O'Neil, is telling people, they do the joke a few times where she says, "Oh, the turtles, they grew up and now they're here, and now they're mutants." They do the joke a few times where people stare at her.
Yeah.
And
like, who can believe that? Who can believe that? But they believed in the Foot Clan that's terrorizing the city and know there's a big myth. But yeah, who's gonna believe some 6-foot turtles are doing anything? And the fact that they were April's pets.
Yeah, that was very
She gave them their names. Like, yeah, that was out there. But at the same time, I feel like Michelangelo stole the show with his smart aleck comments, and even the elevator scene. Like, I tried hard not to laugh at that, but that kind of got me.
I did like that. I actually thought in a way that was the best bonding scene, because it showed, you have to keep remembering in this movie that these are teenagers.
Yeah, and they're brothers. They're around each other all the time, and like, that's obviously something that they do on occasion, because each of them had contributed something
their part,
to
the song.
So it was
even like Raphael, who's always angry or mad or whatever, he was part of it too, because it was just them by themselves.
It was just them doing what brothers do, and at that point they didn't have no reason to be mad at each other. They were just kind of killing time. The scene was a little long, but at the same time, in the way it was given to us, you know, how the brother, you know, how he went a bar or so before they got in there, and that made sense. I think the comedic timing was good. Scene could have been trimmed just a little bit, but it didn't take away from the movie.
Yeah, there's things like specifically like that scene. If you can't, like I said about Lucy, you have to kind of let go a little bit to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't let your logic be the movie for you, because like this, you have to, you know, mutant turtles. If you're kind of just enjoying it and letting them have fun, and you know, I'll admit that I was a long-time Ninja Turtle fan before, so maybe I'm giving it a pass. But I liked that scene. I like the little kind of silly things, and like I said, I think they're doing it on purpose to have fun with the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it was just dumb.
No. I'm trying hard to find something that I didn't like about the movie.
Yeah, even Michelangelo, who I could easily have been annoyed with.
Yeah, no, I felt like he contributed to the awesomeness of the movie. Like, just the things he was saying and how modern and updated, like, you know, like you said, they're teenagers. So how would a teenage boy talk to a girl that he likes? You know,
especially the guy who's full of confidence, but shouldn't necessarily have it.
Yeah, it's not like he was the best out of the four or even the biggest out of the four.
Yeah,
but he had the most confidence, and you definitely got to give it to Mikey with that one, man. I think if they would have gave her another hour, she probably would have been with him. He would have won her over, and that's how the movie would have ended. From the reviews that I heard, this movie shouldn't have got that. No, it's definitely not no 2. You know, like...
Do you think people are Michael Baying it? Giving it a low grade because of Michael Bay?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see why.
Do you think that you're giving it at all kind of a free pass? Like, I feel like I could... Because I was an old fan, I could see how maybe I'm giving them a little bit of a pass.
No, I feel like because I've been watching so many movies and so close together, it's taking more for me to like a movie, you know? So I'm not just giving it a free pass. I feel like this is genuinely a good movie.
Yeah, actually, there was a scene, and when it was happening, I was like, I can't remember having seen this before. The part where Shredder and Splinter actually fight each other. I don't remember in the old movies, where they ever go one-on-one. You know, at the end of the first one, Shredder runs towards Splinter, and he flips him over the building, or whatever. But, I don't know, it was like watching Yoda fight something.
Yeah.
But I was kind of actually excited to see, like Splinter versus Shredder, like that should be the main event.
What would you say was good about the movie?
I mean, I think even though I don't really like how they look necessarily, I'm okay with it. I think they got the feeling of the turtles pretty good.
The attitudes.
Yeah, I think in spirit, Shredder is Shredder. He just looks like Silver Samurai from the Wolverine. Even Splinter I thought was pretty good. He looks like a catfish for some reason. I think April was fine. I felt like Will Arnett underperformed or underdelivered. I've never been a big fan of his, but I know he's able to be funny, and I feel like he wasn't given that much to work with.
I thought the movie was fun and entertaining. The graphics were done well. The turtles look good in my eyes. I like how big they were. It made it more believable that they can do and jump the way they were jumping, and you know, with all that muscle mass they had, why they were so strong and such a force to be feared. You said, the attitudes were completely captured. I thought it was like I was really looking at these characters and believing like that's Mikey, that's Ralph and Donatello and all of them, you know. I did get kind of annoyed by the gadgets and gadgets Donatello had on his shell the whole time, and how they never got damaged by what they were doing.
Yeah.
But that didn't take away from the movie.
Yeah, I like how they were mutated, but they weren't just mutated to 5'9" human size. Like, they were big, their muscles were mutated, their speed was mutated, their size was mutated. It was like everything was bigger about them. They're like Captain America turtles.
But only in the positive way. Like, the mutation never had nothing wrong. Like,
they didn't have any tumors in there.
Yeah, there was no negative effects, you know. And the fact that, you know, they probably smelled like turtles crawling in the sewer the whole time. Why was April so comfortable? Just like in the cartoon. I was like, why is she always chilling in the sewers with them? No one's creeped out by that. Like, yo, it stinks down here. You know what kind of water you're sliding around in right now?
Yeah. When they're sliding down the sewers,
the drains. Pipes. Yeah, it's like, that's getting all in their mouth and their face. They're all wet, but they look dry all the time. Ugh. They never showed Megan Fox wet from, you know, she was like, she never got wet. She was sliding with all that water and all the turtle shells and stuff. Ugh.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the movie, our final feelings about it. We'll be right back. You're listening to Film Debris Podcast.
Sensei, you must stop Shredder. Together, you are stronger than he can ever be. Let's go save my brothers.
Neil's in trouble!
Come on! 4 turtles, one's fighting a robot samurai.
Why not? So they're aliens.
No, that's stupid. They're turtles.
Is there anything else we should know about them?
They're ninjas.
Welcome back. Film Debris Podcast. You heard a little clip from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014. So just some final thoughts to wrap up what we thought about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I think if you kind of let go of realism, the movie really captures a lot of kind of the cartoony spirit and some of the dark humor and dark fun of some of the old Ninja Turtles movies and various other medias that they're in. The Turtles are really fun and entertaining. Kind of wish there was more fight scenes with them where you could see what was going on. But it was a lot of fun. They were open about that fun, that it was a kind of a crazy world, and because of that, I think it was purposely kind of silly, and that they could survive mountains and that final scene where they're falling down, all holding on to that thing. I thought it was a lot of fun. That's what I'm going to say about that.
I also agree. I thought the movie was perfectly paced. Other than the one elevator scene that I felt like was a little too long, I still accept it because it did show a good part of just the turtles and how they interact with each other and how that relates to today's standards. And the plot of the bad guys was a little shallow. It wasn't really no depth to it or anything like that. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, how Shredder interacted and how he looked, he definitely looked like something to be feared. They should have just went with that instead of the whole diabolical scheme they had.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want at the end of the day, is the Shredder versus the Turtles.
Pretty much. That's what you're going for. You know that's going to be the final showdown. And as a matter of fact, when they did fight, it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah. I like that Shredder kind of overpowers them like he should.
Yeah.
But, you know, of course you got to work together.
But yeah, of course. So, yeah, I have more positive things to say about this movie than I have negative. So in my eyes, it was just a really good movie. Really good, really good.
Yeah.
And it made the time go by fast. You weren't sitting there like uncomfortable in your chair for watching an overly drawn out movie when it could have really got to the point. It was nice. It was a nice length of a movie.
All right, so you've been listening to the Film Debris podcast. My name is Robert Temple. You can find me on Twitter at Mastercide, MASTURCIDE. If you're looking for reviews, we have a whole bunch of things on siteheist.com. You'll find these blogcasts on there. There's all kinds of articles and reviews, and take a look at the ranking for the movies that have come out this year. See what's on top, see what you like. They're just opinions. And you can also find Film Debris on youtube.com/filmdebris.
Yep.
If you're looking for Deanthony Graves,
you can find me on Twitter at YaBoyConcepts, YABOIKONCEPTS. I'm also doing a Concepts Watch 1,000 movies. I hope to watch 1,000 movies in theaters. This is actually movie number 20. I'm also doing a Concepts Watch selfie where I take a picture with the movie poster. That's on Twitter. I have the Concepts Watch pretty much blog on Site Heist. Not so much a movie review, but just a review about the experience and how I felt, my initial thoughts. Very bare and raw, but still good substance. Yeah. Good subject matter.
Gives you right to the point of how you feel about it at the time. Yeah,
exactly. The you're gonna live the experience with me is what I hope.
As always, we really appreciate you listening and hanging on with us. I appreciate everyone who's following me and following us and letting us know, subscribing to the channels, following, subscribing, liking, commenting. We really appreciate all of it. If you leave us a comment, kind of let us know where we are, how we're doing. It really makes things better for us, helps us improve the product and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, my name is Robert Temple for Deanthony Graves. Thank you for listening to the Film Debris podcast, and we'll catch you next time.